This is Mike 7, Charlie Sierra, commencing the Saturday Ragchew Net, and I've got Michael logged in, he keyed up when the live stream started there. I did hear Kevin, Chris out there earlier on about 7:15 as well. So, of course, without further ado, I've got Michael, I've got you logged in. So, we'll go ahead. I spoke to Rod earlier today as well. Yeah, we'll wait now and we'll see who would like to check into the Saturday Ragchew Net. If you'd like to be number 3, go ahead with your call sign, name and location. Okay, it's just me and you, Michael, so far. I did put that call out there. I'm sure I saw a key up from Twitter. Yeah, that was 11 minutes past 7. Of course, yeah, just me and you for that now, Michael. So, yeah, we'll have a little chat there, and of course, yeah, we try and keep it all right as well, because there's a lot going on in the world. Over to you there, Michael. Whiskey Alpha 5, Romeo India Papa.
Well, thank you, Chris. This is Whiskey Alpha 5, Romeo India Papa. Since you're the only one listening, I guess you're the only one I'm talking to. And I hate to tell you this, but I'm not sure how long I'm going to be on here. I've got a major storm line coming through Nashville right now. It just got to Nashville, which means it's probably be at my house in about 15 minutes. And if it hits and it turns out the power, I lose connection, you'll know where I went, because it's wreaked havoc over in Oklahoma, Missouri, and Arkansas, my original state. So it's a pretty dangerous storm with high winds, and it's about 26 degrees Celsius here. So that's kind of warm for this time of year, which usually means it spins up storms like this. So I'm hoping I'll stay with you as long as I possibly can. Hopefully I'll get all the way through it. But it's supposed to last about 3 to 4 hours once it passes through. Like I say, it's been very rough on the states to the west of me, so I don't know how it's going to go. Hopefully we'll have some other people join in just in case I fall out and can't continue. I'm getting ready to go and plug all my outdoor antennas and run off just my indoor antennas and my hotspot. Okay, but anyway, that's what's going on here in Lebanon, Tennessee, United States of America. And with that, I'll turn it back to you, Chris. Good to be on the net today. And I'll be around as long as I can possibly be around. Whiskey Alpha 5, Romeo India Papa.
And Whiskey Alpha 5, Romeo India Papa. To be honest, I've not even checked TV listings, so there's probably some kind of ball game going on. So there's that to factor in, but it doesn't normally stop the Three Musketeers, should we say. And it's all good. I'll quickly give a call out. Of course, sometimes people are a couple of minutes late. I started dead on time. Touching wood, so far nothing's gone wrong. Because I actually booted the live stream PC up last night. Well, in the early hours when I went to bed. And of course, yeah, it can do all its background processes and all the updates it wants to its heart content. And then Saturday I need it. And yeah, it's worked out. Rather than just flicking the machine on Saturday. And then, yeah, it's trying to do updates, a load of background services. It don't want to do everything you want it to do. But yeah, today, well, I spoke to Rod earlier on today, and I literally just clicked everything open that I needed to click open, and it all clicked open. One web camera was a little bit dodgy, but of course, yeah, it just needed unplugging and plugging back in, so not a problem. So I'll give a call out anyway, see if we can get anybody in to the Saturday Ragchew Net. Otherwise, yeah, I'll be having an early night as well if you go off. But yeah, so we'll see if anybody else is there. If you'd like to check into the Saturday Ragchew Net, go ahead with your call sign, name and location.
Hi there. It's Echo Operates. Looks like my bar right here. It's Russell and Clancy Lanzarote. Good evening.
Yeah, Echo Alpha 8 Delta Romeo Bravo, and got it as Russell, new call sign, so my log won't update there, but as we get more people in, I'll be able to update that, and then should you check in again, my database is up to date. But yeah, it's all good there. Of course, we've normally got a few people on at this point. But of course we have only just started the net at past there. But nice to have you on there, Russell, and you're coming in via the cqnorthwest network, as yeah, the hotspot gives Daryl's call sign. But yeah, nice to make your acquaintance there, Russell. Right, we'll see if we've got anyone else, and we'll try and keep it moving, and then do a full round. So, is there anybody else who would like to join in with the Saturday Ragchew Net? Go ahead for your call sign, name and location. Okay, no, nothing heard there. So, yeah, welcome to Russell there. We'll quickly go back to Michael. We've just got to hope that weather holds off. But, yeah, I always expect the worst, and then when it doesn't happen, it's a surprise, isn't it? But, yeah, the weather this way, we've been getting the odd dusting of rain with the Sahara sand in it, so things have been going red. And sandy colour kind of thing. So yeah, there's that going on over here, and of course, yeah, I had mentioned in some messages with you, Michael. Yeah, there's been a lot of plane movements, and yeah, well, I don't know if I can get into trouble for saying it, but yeah, don't believe the news. They say that these planes arrived at Fairford Airport, and they arrived today. No, they arrived yesterday. But the first one arrived in about 3 p.m. yesterday, and yeah, the last one came in at 9 p.m. So yeah, my nice flight aware tracker, I'm in range of that particular airport there, and of course, yeah, the details all came up on there. So I've set alerts for them now as well. So should they go up in the air, yeah, tell me. So that's all good, but, yeah, enough about me and my new toy. Over to you then, Michael. Whiskey Alpha 5, Romeo India Papa.
This is Whiskey Alpha 5, Romeo India Papa, and Russell, welcome to the net. Glad to see you there, and I see that you live on an island, so that's pretty cool. The only time I've ever lived on an island that was actually connected to the mainland with highways when I lived in Key West, Florida. But when I first got down, I was stationed in the Navy down there. I had been there less than 2 weeks, and they had an accident on the 7-mile bridge, blew a choke out of the 7-mile bridge about 10 or 12 foot wide and long. No traffic were passed for over a week. So I was stranded and cut off from the mainland. Much like you are probably right now. I don't know how you get back and forth unless you use ferries to get back and forth to the mainland, but I think it's pretty cool to be living on an island. Hey, Chris, where is this airport at that you're covering? If you can tell me that. I don't know if it's classified or anything like that, if you can actually talk about those things. But is it a military airport, or is it a civilian airport that these planes are coming through? It's a lot of traffic, air traffic over there going that way. I know that the United States has had a lot of military traffic headed that way. I don't think that's classified because we see it on the news, and you hear dozens of stories about why it's coming there. So you got to choose to believe who you want to believe. But anyway, very interesting stuff going on. Like you say, we've had 85. It was about 26 degrees Celsius yesterday. Very unusual for this time of year, and that's usually what spins up a lot of the storms that we're having now. And so that's like I say, we did some severe damage over in Missouri and Oklahoma yesterday and last night. So I hope those people over there are doing okay. And with that, I guess I'll turn it back to you, Chris. Whiskey Alpha 5, Romeo India Papa.
Yeah, Mike 7, Charlie Sierra. So, yeah, the traffic heading out of the US, and, of course, they call them Trump's, well, there were 3 of them have come here. They call them Trump's super weapon. I can't remember the exact name of the plane, and I can't remember how I look at my track list. No, but of course, yeah, basically they are 3 fighter jets. They hold a lot of long-range missiles, but they are like a biggest fighter jet. And of course, it was another like a cargo jet. But the airport that they're landing at, it actually is, although it's in Gloucestershire, it actually is a US Air Base. Yeah, it's called RAF Fairford. Every year we normally have a really big air show there, you might have heard of. Of course, yeah, it's military over anything else, really. I don't know the exact dates or what happened when, but yeah, the US Air Force, they took a 99-year lease on RAF Fairford, because yeah, you can get places very quick in a 900-mile-an-hour plane there. Yeah, we'll go over to Russell. Echo 8, hang on, my dyslexia is kicking in. Echo Alpha 8, Delta Romeo Bravo. Over to you there, Russell.
Thank you there, Chris. I think the airplane you're thinking about was certainly the one I saw on the news earlier this morning. It's the American B-1 Lancer. I think 2 or 3 of them landed at Fairford yesterday, so it's probably that plane. I think you was trying to recall. Hello there, Michael. Yes, I'm on an island in the middle of the Atlantic, just off the coast of Africa. There's a small group of islands called the Canary Islands, and the particular island I'm on is Lanzarote. Fairly small by island standards, but living here a few years. I'm a So I'm from the UK, from the London area, but moved to the Spanish island of Lanzarote. You said there, Michael, that you was down at the Keys in Florida. Now, I have visited there a couple of times actually, but there was one time me and my wife decided to drive from Miami down the Keys, thinking we could get all the way to the end of the Keys and back again in one day. We didn't appreciate how far away the far end is, and we got further away. We got down as far as the town of Marathon. If you know that particular town, that's how far we got before we decided to have a bite to eat and then turn ourselves out and come back again. So we never got to the far end, but we gave it a good go. I'll hand it back to you now, Michael. Thank you.
Mike 7, Charlie Sierra, thanks very much. Personally, it's Chris, but yeah, it's hard to, it is, when you've heard the name and then it sticks in your mind there. Yeah, I'm actually presenting out on the live stream, because there is a live stream on YouTube as well, Russell, under my call sign. Of course, yeah, I'm actually presenting my my flight radar. I'm actually presenting all the traffic I can see at the minute, and I was trying to get the right map, but it turned out I might have grabbed the wrong map. Yeah, I have grabbed the wrong map. I'll literally, yeah, I'll find the right map. Oh, it's loading now. Right. It always so I find the right map now, my colourful map, and I will try and I'll show you my location with when I manage to blend through the whole up a bit now. Of course, yeah, you'll see how far that airport is away as well. Yeah, for the second, I better concentrate on the net as well. So, is there anybody else who would like to join in with the Saturday Ragchew Net? Go ahead with your call sign, name and location, and an over.
N6 UTC mobile.
N6 UTC mobile. Hiya there, NDAF. And yeah, sounding nice and strong there. Well, if you're mobile, you're not necessarily in Long Beach, are you? Back to you there, Enda.
Yeah, pronounce that. Oh, actually, so Borada here, isn't it? So Borada, Chris and everybody else, this is Endav. N6 UTC mobile here on Highway 39, heading south. I guess I'm in the city of Pico Rivera. I'm heading back home after spending the morning in Pasadena. I went to the Scale conference this morning, Southern California Linux Expo. Never been before, wanted to check it out. I had to walk around for about an hour and a half, and it was enough for me. I'm avoiding the 605 freeway right now because they've decided to repave the motorway, you know, during the weekends. So I'm taking Highway 39 here, which is a bit of a slog. Coming to you through the Catalina Island repeater using WiresX to the cqnorthwest room. It seems that the W.D.R.G room is not bridged to the XLX reflector. I'll try and stay as long as I can with you, Chris. I'll hand it back to you on 6 UTC mobile.
Yeah, Mike 7, Charlie Sierra. Thanks very much there. Yeah, someone's not tethered there. Yeah, I'm on cqnorthwest WiresX, and I'm watching a dashboard coming back through the W.D.R.G XLX server, and I am also watching Module D of XLX. Is it 749? Yeah. Yeah, that's how I'm watching that my traffic's coming back, because Simon's dashboard isn't working for me today. So yeah, by connecting another hotspot to there as a visual, then I can see that I'm going out, I'm not dropping and everything else, etc. So, yeah, thanks very much for coming in there, Ender. Those that are watching the live stream, I'm still waiting for the airports to load. But, of course, yeah, the easiest way to say it is pretty much I'm here where the mouse is going round, and when we come back over here, we've pretty much got an RAF there, an RAF here, which is Fairford round here, and an RAF here. So, of course, yeah, when I actually get them it to pop up properly, then I will actually display that again, and where it show the airports exactly where they are. It's just because obviously I put a filter on it's just my box, and then you have to use the internet to load all the airport data, and of course, yeah, we're chucking out a lot of data. Oh, it's loading now. We're chucking a lot of data on the upload because we're running a live stream here as well. Right, we'll see if we've got anybody else who would like to check into the Saturday Ragchew Net. If you would, go ahead with your call sign, name and location, and an over. Okay, so we'll go back up to the top of the list. Back to Michael. Whiskey Alpha 5, Romeo.
Thanks, Chris. Whiskey Alpha 5, Romeo and Papa here. Good to meet you, Russell, again. And welcome to the net. I was going to tell Russell, I actually got to Key West in November of 1980. At that point in time, all the little islands between Miami or the mainland all the way down to Key West were connected with little 2-lane roads, 2-lane bridges. So to drive to Miami would take you about 2.5 to 3 hours because there was so much the traffic down there, and the bridges were so small. Literally, your car was inches from the edge of the bridge. By the time I left in 1983, they replaced all those bridges with nice, big, wide bridges. So if you get one down there after about 1983, you get to drive on some really nice roads as compared to what I had in 1980. But it was Marathon. I can't tell you how many times I've stopped at Marathon. Marathon was the first big wide spot in the road, as they say, where you could go get something to eat and get gas. And usually we stopped at McDonald's. Like we usually rode back and forth with a group of people, and we would stop at McDonald's and get a hamburger on our way up to Miami or Fort Lauderdale. And back then, Fort Lauderdale was a big thing for the college spring breakers. So you get to see a lot of drunk college kids on the beach then. Last I heard, the B-52 bomber was he come over there with over to Iran with a bunch of bunker bombs. The only reason I know about the B-52 is it was the only plane bigger than the one that I worked on, the only aircraft bigger than the one that I worked on that carried more ordnance than the one I worked on. I worked on the A-6, and it was a medium, all-weather medium attack aircraft bomber, and it, like I say, the B-52 carried more ordnance, but that was the only one in service that did that. And with that, Chris, I'll turn it over to you. I'm looking at the weather moving into my area on my ring camera. So this is Whiskey Alpha 5, Romeo and Papa, returning to you.
Yeah, Mike 7, Charlie Sierra. Well, I managed to get the map to load, because obviously to load the maps where the airports are, it gets its data, but it gets it via GPS and stuff, and yeah, and then I had to turn off it into the local station, my own local thing, so that I could go further, as to say, and of course then, yeah, I found it. So if you're watching the live stream, where the 8 degrees is, that is my local airport in front, which is, it says Staverton, but it's Gloucestershire Airport. I'm where my mouse cursor is now, around about there. and RAF Fairford is over here, and over here, ooh, there we go, I just clicked on straight away, Summit has just left that airport, and it's not, it isn't Fairford, it's Bryce Norton. So a plane has actually just left Bryce Norton, and it's an Airbus A400M Atlas. Doesn't tell me the country of registration, tells me it's 10 years old, and it says military or government is the category. So, of course, yeah, there's a plane just taken off from Bryce Norton. And, yeah, live as we're doing the tracking there. But I just noticed it and thought I'd give it a click and see what it was. So, of course, yeah, the plane displayed. And then over here, where my cursor is spinning around the little hand, if you can see the little hand, around about here somewhere in the Cotswolds, we have another airport, but it's not showing up because it's where planes go to die. It's called Cotswold Airport. So, yeah, that's, well, there's a history lesson over and done with, and a little bit of a presentation there of my free equipment that came from Sweden. So, we go over to Russell, Echo 8, and Echo Alpha 8, Delta Romeo Bravo. I'm going to do it every time. Over to you there, Russell.
Thank you there, Chris. Yeah, I don't suppose you get too many EA8s coming into your net. I've just kind of stumbled across the net now. If you can confirm if this is a weekly net, I'll try to make it more frequently if I'm able to make it. And I see that you're down as being Long Beach, California. Now, I did some work for a few months in Los Angeles and was in the city of El Segundo. And I took the opportunity to go down to Long Beach. I wanted to visit the museum ship, the Queen Mary, which was an amazing thing. I'm guessing you live in there, you probably visited it yourself, but yeah, it was an amazing thing to see. Chris, I'm going to hand back to you now. This will be my last report I need to shoot. I will listen in for a few more minutes before I go, but this will be my last back. So back to you, and thanks everybody. Russell, EA8, DRB.
Yeah, Mike 7, Charlie Sierra. Well, thanks very much, Russell, for coming on. Glad you found us. Yeah, we've been running for a number of years now, like 6, and of course, yeah, it's always every Saturday. Of course, numbers are always up and down, in a sense, they are with most nets nowadays anyway. We, you know, there's a live stream under my call sign, as I mentioned before. I don't know if there is any chat going on, but I'm not seeing it. In my studio, I'll have to, in my YouTube studio, so I'll have to refresh that. But of course, yeah, I'm pretty much, I was off camera for a long time. I used to always be on camera every week. And yeah, I'm back on camera for the second week, but of course, yeah, it's only the back of the head. But not really got a face for it. I've got a face for radio, let's say. So that's all good. But I will mark you 7-3 there, Russell. And yeah, we have the Ragchew Net every Saturday from 19:30. Sometimes we'll wrap it up around 8:30, depending on numbers. Other times it'll go on past 9 p.m. But it's every Saturday. And unless, you know, if I haven't got a voice or something happens, but pretty much, yeah, there are pages on Facebook, the Saturday Ragchew Net pages. It's actually got its own Facebook account as well, and of course the one way to remember is, yeah, go to the YouTube, subscribe. I'm not monetized. I don't do it for that. Yeah, if you subscribe, click the bell and whatever, and whenever I go live, yeah, you'll get a little notification. And I go live about 10 minutes before the actual Ragchew as well. So it gives people enough time to think, oh, my hotspot ain't working. Oh, I'll do an update, get it done, yeah, get on the net. Right, we go back to NDAF Mobile, N6 UTC.
Yeah, Dakar, Chris. Still on California State Route 39 here. I guess I'm close to the city of Whittier now. I'm trying to get to a road called Telegraph, which will then get me back on Interstate 605, missing all that road work. To answer Russell's question, yes, the Queen Mary is in Long Beach. El Segundo, that's where the LAX, or LA International Airport is. I know El Segundo very well. I live in North Long Beach, so I'm about 5 miles from Queen Mary, although I did live in that area when I first came out here 25 years ago. The Long Beach Radio Club, ham radio club that I kind of messed around with, run a wireless room on the Queen Mary, so I've been on the ship many, many times. It's a ham radio room now, but it kind of, people dress up as their, wireless officers back in the golden age of the ocean liners and pretend that they're, sending telegrams and so on and so on. The Long Beach Grand Prix is actually next month around that area, which is an IndyCar race. I may go down there for the sports car race, probably not the IndyCar race itself, we'll see. Anyway, I'll hand it back to you, Chris. And as I said, I'll try and stay as long as I can. This repeater has a 30-minute timer. After about 30 minutes, it reconnects itself automatically back to its native room. So if I'm here, great. If not, talk to you again. N6 UTC. Yeah, definitely in the city of which,
Yeah, Mike 7 Charlie Sierra. Well, yeah, thanks very much there, NDAF, and of course, yeah, we're keeping you company as well, aren't we, while you're travelling there. So yeah, we should have you for about 30 minutes. Maybe. Maybe 25, isn't it? So we give a quick call out to see if anybody else would like to join in with the Saturday Ragchew Net. If you would, go ahead with your call sign, name and location, and an over.
Golf Whiskey 4 Golf Juliet Alpha. Ken here, Merthyr Phil.
Yeah, GW4GJA. Thanks very much there, Ken. Over to you there. Yeah, getting over with your check-in.
Yeah, it's evening, Chris. And took me a while to find out where you all were. I had to do a bit of searching because I forgot to come up last week, to be quite honest. And I think we were out as well on one occasion. But anyway, we're okay otherwise here. Been busy. The weather here in this part of Wales has been reasonable this week. A bit colder today. But we had some good weather yesterday. I was over in Abergavenny. The wife's got cataracts being done at one point very soon, and taken 2.5 years to get there, 3 years. But I had to go to Neville Hall Hospital at Abergavenny yesterday. But otherwise, I've been messing around with my usual bits and pieces. Computers, still got stuff being constructed and put together. A lot with Raspberry Pis just lately. In fact, Raspberry Pi runs my HS side now at the moment in the garage. I've got a Raspberry Pi 3B there. My Raspberry Pi 4 blew up, packed up totally, which is annoying. I replaced it with a Raspberry Pi 400, which is in a key, comes in inside a keyboard. That was going for less than the price of a Raspberry Pi 4 on its own. And I got this complete with everything really, power supply, mouse, the lot. 40 quid, I think it was, 44, something like that. And we've got 4 gig of RAM on board, so which is adequate. So that works extremely well. And anyway, it's the Raspberry Pi 3 at the moment, which is bare bones, sitting on top of the housing, covering the radio up. Just trying out, and it works fine. No troubles at all with all the HF digital stuff and everything. I did try it some years ago and had lots of problems with RF breakthrough and everything, but gone about it a different way this time, utilising all the USB side of it. Basically, just connects up the same way as you normally do on a normal computer. Really, it's all the same and just as efficient. So that's worked out very well at the moment. Not that I've been out in the shack today. I've been too busy all day doing other things. Anyway, back to you. Everything's all right at your end, and the group is running okay. From Golf Whiskey 4, Golf Juliet Alpha.
Yeah, Mike 7, Charlie Sierra. Yeah, thanks very much there, Ken. And yeah, everything's running okay this end, and all good. And yeah, glad you found us again. So we'll see if there's anybody else who would like to check in. If you would, go ahead with your call sign, name and location, and over. Okay, nothing heard, so we'll go back to Michael, Whiskey Alpha 5, Romeo India Papa.
Chris, Whiskey Alpha 5, Romeo India Papa here. That first page you showed, that on the very first screen it was gray off on the left side, that looked like a transport. It almost looked like the American version of the C-130, which I've taken many, many rides in. They transport troops, personnel, and a lot of cargo. So I wonder what they're hauling. But that's very interesting. I thought I heard you mention something about Harriers. Does the UK still run the RAF still run a lot of Harriers? I always thought that was the most unique aircraft I ever saw. There was a base just south of me, the next state down when I was stationed on the East Coast, that had Harriers for the Marines. And it was the coolest aircraft to watch come in and land or take off, because they would do both regular takeoffs, then they would do vertical takeoffs. And to see a plane coming into the landing strip, coming in like it was going to land normally, and then suddenly stop in midair and slowly lower itself down the last 25 or 30 feet onto the airstrip and then taxi in. Such a cool thing. I could watch it all day. It was so different from anything else I'd ever worked on and ever seen. But I was just wondering if the RAF was still running Harriers. And with that, I'm slowly watching this line come through. I guess it's slowly coming through, and that's the reason it's dumping so much rain off to the west. So I guess that's what we're going to end up getting. But I wonder where our two other musketeers are too today. I don't know. I think Rod said something about having to do something, but I can't remember if Steven said he was going to be here or not. I'll turn it back to you, Chris. Whiskey Alpha 5, Romeo India Papa.
Yeah, Mike 7, Charlie Sierra. Well, I think it is probably a little bit too old. Now, I remember when I was a lot younger, and we're on the private airport now, right? And of course, yeah, there was a Harrier jump jet, and they're loud. So, yeah, we weren't meant to be there, but, yeah. But of course they can take off and land pretty much anywhere as well. But yeah, I'm not sure whether they still run them or not. I will dive deeper in AI mode on Google. Let's see. So the Harrier and the F-15 Eagle are two different jets, often compared by famous declaimer. I knew that. And of course, yeah, nice speeds. It doesn't actually say if they still run them. So yeah, you'd expect AI to have said that, told you that, but yeah, it doesn't say that. So I will have to give still in service, and we'll see what it tells me. Harrier 2 is still in active service, primarily with the US Marine Corps until roughly 2027. The Spanish Navy until 2030, and the Italian Navy, while the UK retired theirs in 2010-2011. The remaining Harriers are being replaced by the F-35B Lightning II. So, yeah, I don't like AI, but sometimes, yeah, it does help you. And of course, yeah, ever since we've ever typed a question into a Googly machine, we've used AI in a sense, haven't we? But yeah, it's dangerous when it comes up and it's pretty like, you ask it a question, it gives you the answer and then says, "How's Donna?" And you're like, whoa. But yeah, it's quite scary. So we'll go over to NDAF now, N6 UTC.
NDAF N6 UTC here on the 605, on the Interstate 605. Now, the Royal Air Force and the Fleet Air Arm of the Royal Navy, as the internet told you, retired them about 15 years ago, which is criminal that, you know, one of the best planes ever designed, you know, the British decided to retire them. Now they're predominantly run by the US Marines. The AV-8B version is what the Marines use, and also the Spanish Navy use the McDonnell Douglas version. So Hawker Siddeley, or BAE as it became, licensed that design to McDonnell Douglas before it became Boeing. So the Americans and the Spanish, I'm not sure about the Italians, but they run the American version of the Harrier. And the aircraft you saw was probably the Airbus Atlas A400. It's a twin prop. It's a twin prop, a cargo aircraft, run in conjunction with the C-130 Hercules, which the RF is still flying. I'm a big of a plane nerd. Anyway, I'm gonna make this the final. I'm coming up to State Route 91 here, and I'm home, and I'd rather have both hands on the wheel on the motorway. Thanks, Chris, and 6TC.
Yeah, Mike 7, Charlie Sierra. Yep, not a problem there, and thanks for popping in anyway, and of course, yeah, sharing the updates of your journey as well, and of course, adding some RF to the net. So, yeah, we will now go round to Ken, GW4, GJA.
Yeah, okay, yes, cheers to the other station there. Yeah, I used to live near the Royal Air Force at Manston many years ago, down in Margate on the southeast coast. But it hasn't been, the Americans were there when I was a kid, but used to see the parachutes coming down with the jeeps on the end, doing, you know, training manoeuvres and so on. Of course, I haven't been there for years now. Manston got shut down, but it is reopening. They've got finances through now. Canadian company owns it, and lots will be happening there eventually. So we'll probably start up with transport, commercial transport, I gather. But the lady who used to own the buses here, the bus services, bought it and then shut it down. Was it Anne Gross or something? I don't know her name now. But of the famous bus companies here. I can't remember the name either of that now. A few years ago now, but she sold it in the end and closing it all down and stripping it apart. It was running as a private passenger down there. I remember working in there when I was an electrician, working on the hangars and so on, doing electrical installation work down there in the hangars many moons ago. I was working for a private contractor then down in Margate. That's Superior. Yeah, that's right. We did all the hovercraft as well, didn't we, down there? Anyway, that's another story. But since then, I've travelled all around the UK, and the American bases are still up and running in many places of the UK. Anyway, I couldn't come out with all the names right now, but I see Starmer's given permission for Trump to use them, the bases. Don't quite know what's going on there at the moment with this Iranian war, which should not have been started really. It's caused a crisis globally, no doubt about that. I just hope it doesn't get worse, because we will all suffer eventually, one way or the other. I will never forgive him for doing it. Anyway, let's hope it's something happens soon and gets stopped. Right, we're timing out, so back to you there from Golf Whiskey 4 Golf Juliet Alpha.
Yeah, Mike 7 Charlie Sierra. Thanks very much, Ken. And of course, yeah, thanks very much, Ken. And yeah, you did time out there, so yeah, not a problem. So we'll see if anybody else would like to join in with the Saturday Ragchew Net. If you would, go ahead for your call sign, name and location.
G0UZ, running Cambridge.
Right, I want to know why you're late. I'm only joking. G0UZ, Mike 7 Charlie Sierra.
G0UZ. Yeah, I've just finished tea, really. Cooking after the rugby, and yeah, I didn't realise it was so late, to be honest. I thought it was still only 6:30, but that doesn't surprise me. So yeah, sorry about that. I shall book my ideas up and be there on time next week. Back to you, Chris. And M7CCS, use it.
Yeah, Mike 7 Charlie Sierra. Well, you know, I'm only joking about being late and wanting a note and all that kind of thing, but yeah, you're here when you're here, and of course I spoke to you earlier, so you checked in first anyway. But yeah, on technicality, if you want to call it that. But it's all good there. So we'll see if anybody else is there would like to check in. If you are, go ahead with your call sign, name and location, and it over.
VK3, Mike Juliet Radio. Good evening, Chris, and to the rest of the group. And I'll be just checking in, checking out, but we'll be listening for a little while there, Chris, over.
Yeah, Mike 7 Charlie Sierra. Yep, okay there, Ron, and I'm sure we'll catch up again soon. But yeah, look, you know, of course, yeah, radio, I come and do the net and everything else, but other things go on, don't they? But of course, yeah, I don't always, you know, I consider it antisocial to be talking on the radio if I have a visitor, a guest. But, yeah, so sometimes when they're sat on ticky-tocky, as I call it, yeah, they're a bit antisocial in the conversation, aren't they? So I have to pick up the radio a bit more often and stuff. But I do listen to you and Hams in the week and everything, and I do sometimes hear, well, it's your morning chats with Jeff. But, and of course, yeah, it's very late at night, and a bit too late to come in if I am hearing, and if I am hearing, I shouldn't be awake. Hi. But when you start talking, that's okay, but when you end talking, yeah, I really should be in bed. So, thanks very much for in and out there, Ron. We'll see if anyone else is there on the side before I go back up to Michael at the top of the list. Okay, we go back to Michael, Whiskey Alpha 5, Romeo India Papa. And for anybody watching the live stream and seeing the older plane, yeah, that plane was built by the Gloucester Aircraft Company, and it was called the Gloucester Gladiator. Gloucester's kind of famous, but yeah, it was a long time ago. All industry seems to have disappeared, really. But of course, yeah, the closest thing that we would have had would have been Daity, but of course, yeah, let's go to the Gloucester Mediator. Actually, I got it wrong. But yeah, the closest thing we would have now is Messier Daity. It's probably not even called that now. It's just called Daity. They make landing gears for big planes. But even that's owned by a company out of the country, in a sense. But yeah, there's a little bit on the Wikipedia where I was getting the picture from. And of course, yeah, it was 1944. What it says, the Meteor first flew in 1943 and commenced operations in July 1944. Hence why I remembered that plane. It's the year my dad was born. But of course, yeah, yeah, there's a lot. If you actually type it into the Wikipedia, you could probably read it a little bit better. But just thought I would present that out, that yeah, Gloucester did make some fighter planes at what was called the Gloucester Aircraft Company, but it doesn't exist anymore. So I will put everything all back to net and stop playing around, and go to Michael, Whiskey Alpha 5, Romeo India Papa, because I was putting it there.
Chris is Whiskey Alpha 5, Romeo India Papa here, and welcome to the chat there, Ron. Good to see you join us. At least we got 2 of the 3 Musketeers going. I like some of the older aircrafts myself. Like I say, I came in '79, and so the Phantom was still operating at that point in time, and it was basically, they said it was a rocket with wings attached, because it was so fast, and it was one of the faster aircrafts going. And but like I say, like I say, my first ship I was on was an amphibious assault ship where we put the Marines on the beach, and we used the Harriers for that, in addition to some other things that we used. But I really enjoyed watching that Harrier. I'm glad that the UK is still running a version of it, or giving it back to us to run a version of it, because it was a really phenomenal aircraft. It could do turns and things that no other normal aircraft could do, because of the propulsion that was not only through the main engines but also for the wingtips. It was a really amazing aircraft. I hate to see that we got away from it. But and I always thought it was kind of strange when I went over to the European side of the world. Their aircraft carriers always had that little end at the very bow of the aircraft. They would have like a 15 to 20 degree turn up. Ours are all straight across off the end of the carrier, but they always have. You can tell that from a distance that the ship was a carrier from Europe, because the Italians and I guess the UK and a bunch of others would have that little turn up at the very end to give the planes extra lift as they came off the end of the flight deck. But I just got the rain moving in. You can barely see across my back garden or across the street for all the rain. It's pouring right now. So the storm has definitely hit here in my area. So if you do lose me, that's what's happened. But otherwise, hopefully, it won't be too bad, and I'll be able to stay the rest of the net. And depending on what time you're shutting it down, Chris. But I'll do a real quick food form before I turn it back to you. We had, my wife made tortellini, was a dish that I can't pronounce. It was tortellini in a masala wine sauce with Parmesan cheese, mushrooms, asparagus, and a very nice reduction to it. Very tasty. I some of it had a leftover for lunch today. With that, I'll turn it back to you, Chris, before I get timed out. Whiskey Alpha 5, Romeo India Papa.
Yeah, Mike 7, Charlie Sierra, thanks very much there, Michael. And of course, yeah, nice little bit of food porn there. And of course, yeah, the Harrier was, it was a good plane, it is what it can do. And of course, yeah, its successors, its older brothers and sisters, if you want to call them, yeah, they all learned technology and things and maneuverability from there. So, of course, yeah, of course, I actually, I asked my friend the other day, I said, I call him Rockman, that's his nickname, Nick, but I said, you know, we were talking about fighter planes and whatever, and, you know, we were talking about a Delta Wing fighter jet, and I goes, yeah, but where else have you seen that kind of array, of Delta Ring, other than in a fighter jet? And he was sat there, and of course he's going to be 40 this year, and of course, yeah, I've got 3 coils on, 3 turns on the coil on him, and he pretty much, yeah, he was sat there totally confused. And I said, when we had Churchdown Air Show when we were a kid, it came over the top of the houses, I goes, the nose bends on it. And he still couldn't, couldn't quite get it. And I said, well, unfortunately, that plane, it was designed with 1960s technology. It was far too advanced, and it cost too much to run. And there were a fleet of them. And I said, you know, fighter jet technology to get that Mach, those Mach speeds on the Concorde and Concorde. And I think there was another one that they were trying to develop as well. There was the first one before that crashed. Not up too much on the history of that. I know there was Concorde, it was French, wasn't it? There was a Concordian or something, I think it was a Russian one, and it crashed. And then, of course, yeah, it was the only time that it was a good relationship where the French and the English worked together, and yeah, remarkably bought that passenger jet out, the Concorde. But of course, yeah, it was far too ahead of its time, and there's nothing replacing it. Well, there might well be something replacing it, but with the price of fuel, I don't think so. Right, I've timed out over to GW4GJA.
Did you pass it to me? I just dropped the volume off.
Yes, I did pass it to you there, and also acknowledging Twitter. So, yeah, back to you there, Ken. GW4GJA, yes, I did pass it to you. And Monty, I've got you in, so you're after Rob. to you there, Ken.
Right, it's okay. Yeah, sorry, I'm using a smartphone here and I knocked the volume down as you probably handed it over to me. Yeah, interested in all the old aircraft. Used to have a big interest in them years ago. Used to build all the models as a youngster. I remember doing an essay on it at schools, writing an essay on aircraft. And yeah, they were the days, building all these models. Anyway, that's all history now. I don't do that much now. Well, I don't do anything in that area now. It's mainly amateur radio, really, which I suppose started at the age of, I don't know, 12, 13, something like that. Back in the 1960s, early 60s. Let's see, 47. I was born in 47, so. Yeah. My dad was a self-taught radio TV engineer, so as well as an electrician at the theatre in Margate there, the Winter Gardens. So that's how I got into radio, really, because he was building all sorts of stuff, and he built our first TV set back in the 50s. I remember seeing the Queen's coronation in 1953. Just about remember that. That was in Margate on the Dane Valley Road. And it had the big H aerial up on the roof. It was on VHF. About 50 odd megs, I think it was on, something like that. And just one channel in those days, obviously the BBC. And then later on we had a converter he put on to get the ITV channel when they started up in independent television network. Anyway, from there I got interested in radio. I didn't know anything about ham radio, that was a separate issue, but I was building broadcast radios and valve radio sets. My dad had the practical wireless and practical television, and also wireless as well. And so from practical wireless I was really interested in, and knocking up all these valve radios in those days, TRS sets and so on. I had some great fun with that. They worked well too. Oh, sorry, we timed out there. Yeah, I did hear lots of radio hams. They were all on AM in those early days, so a TRS set worked out quite well. Anyway, back to you there, Chris, from GW4GJA.
Yeah, Mike 7 Charlie Sierra, thanks very much there, Ken. And it's all good there. So we go around to Rog G0 EUZ. So yeah, if anyone's watching the live stream, the last thing that was, well, it's on the screen now. Well, it's just ended. But yeah, the Jet Age Museum is just down the road from me. And the Doughty, the landing gear, of course, I mentioned that was just down the road. But yeah, it's no longer a UK company anymore. But yeah, pretty much a lot of the houses around this area, they all came about because of aircraft manufacture. And yeah, a lot of it is all gone. So, round to you there, Roger. G0 EUZ. And I saw a nice little article. I shared it with City. But yeah, electric buses, a whole fleet bought in a Gloucester bus company. It's not the main operator, it's more coaches. But yeah, they bought a fleet of electric vehicles. And they were happy to entertain it in the local, well, you call it a rag, not I'd say newspaper, well, it's just print on an online page nowadays. But yeah, Gloucestershire Live as it's called. Over to you there, Rog. G0, EUZ.
G0, EUZ, back to the group. Yeah, good Nicole and Ken. And Sutty when he gets on. I don't know if he's still listening. Yeah, funny enough, going back, my very first job was British Aircraft in Weybridge, down south, and yeah, I personally didn't. I was in Doors department, but they weren't looking on Concorde then. I think that's all British Aircraft did was off somewhere else, probably France, to be joined up with the fuselage on. So yeah, fabulous plane. So, but yeah, all interesting. I've to change to cqnorthwest because I stopped receiving you, Chris. Everybody else was coming through on DMR, but I stopped receiving you. So hopefully I'm still coming through. So what else was there? That food now was fantastic, Michael. I enjoyed the listening to that. I've just had my usual ribs tonight. Sweet, smoky barbecue. With this afternoon. Playing very well. It's anyway, they did. 7CCS, you use that.
Yeah, Mike 7, Charlie Sierra. Well, that was going through very broken, and there we go, and I just blew out of that radio. Yeah, my fail-safe there, the DMR, if in date, because someone's dropping a bit, lift the DMR volume up, but because, of course, yeah, directly on the server. Yeah, there was quite a bit of break-up there, Rod, unfortunately. But we got the gist of what you were saying. But it went like, well, Monty, he's thinking of recording you and chucking you in the Dalek. I'm only joking, hi. But yeah, it did go a little bit choppy and wavy. Don't know if that was my end, but we'll find out from everyone else as well. So we'll go over to Monty, 2W1CER, over there, anyway. Over to you there, Monty.
2 Whiskey 1 Tango Echo Romeo. Yeah, that last over was like every other word, and then total blanks, and a lot of Morse code over the top of it. I don't know where that's coming from, but yeah, I didn't get much of that last over at all. But I did hear you talking about Concorde, which is the joint Anglo-French-British operation, both called Concorde, because the word means harmony in French, so we took that word as to emphasise the joint operation, that we were working in harmony. And the Russian version, the Topolov TU-144, we nicknamed Konkordsky because we like to take the mickey out of other people. So yeah, that was Konkordsky. But yeah, that was a bit of a copy off some photographs, design it, fly it, and let it crash. and it never really worked. They never got to the inside information, which was more important than the exterior, because we developed quite a bit of flight control by then. But yeah, some of my favourite planes was the Starfighter, the 104G, or as it was called over in Europe, the Widowmaker. Yeah, I was really into my aircraft as a kid. My old man being in the Air Force and me getting all the RF camps and that. I could climb about them and really get up close to them. It was really good fun. But we had some cracking planes back then. So many variations on things. But yeah, all those times are gone. Joint operations, a joint integration of the components needed to work together in a grander scale with the radios, the weapon systems, and all the hush-hush stuff inside them. We had to plan and work together, so we had to integrate. And of course, that meant to purchasing a lot of aircraft from a lot of countries just to be homogenous with each other. Yeah, I used to love aircraft. Oh, I still do enjoy aircraft. I still make a few models now and then, and watch out for them on the old internet and stuff, and catch up on the history of airplanes and stuff on YouTube. Yeah, love it all. I was a bit of an airplane buff as a kid. That was my thing. But yeah, the last over was
The last over somehow timed out. But yeah, and so thanks very much there, Monty. And of course, yeah, you never forget Concorde, and of course it was in my lifetime, and yeah, kids that never had it in their lifetime, they don't know what they missed. In a sense, it's just another plane. But of course, yeah, what it stood for and what it did. Not so much the millionaires travelling on it, but yeah, that's the only people that could afford to travel on it, in a sense. Or if your company bought you a ticket to travel by it and stuff like that. But it was always well known that you could yeah, you could leave England and yeah, get there in time for a meeting, and yeah, get back and be back in time for tea. But yeah, good old Wikipedia. It does have yeah, some of the old you know, I know it with the Union Jack on the back of it and everything. But yeah, some of the old embolisms on the pictures I'm showing as well. Of Concorde, yeah, that's how I remember it. the next picture, you'll see it in a minute. But there's the live streams behind. But yeah, iconic plane. And of course, don't know if anything will ever get near it. And there's the money shot, accompanied by the red arrows. So yeah, all good there. So I'm going to put it back to the net, and well, what's the time? Yep, right, we will put it round to Michael, Whiskey Alpha 5, Romeo India Papa. We go round one more time, and then I think we'll think about the 7-3. Over to you there.
It's Chris, Whiskey Alpha 5, Romeo India Papa, and I've enjoyed the pictures of especially the Concorde. I've seen it fly a few times, never been in it myself. But, you know, it's strange. When I joined the Navy in '79, all I wanted to do was to learn an electronic trade where I could work on any kind of electronics, because I learned way back then that if you knew how to troubleshoot electrical equipment, electronics, then you could work on virtually any electronic or electrical system once you knew the theory of operation. So I wasn't really into aircraft, because that was what the Navy offered to me, was to work on aircraft. And so I went to school for it. But once I started working on the aircraft, I did enjoy working on aircraft, and I loved watching them fly, especially when ones that I had fixed got off the ground and I could sit all day long and watch the F-14 Tomcat. Of course, it made a lot of movies through the years, and now it's been retired for quite some time now. But the F-14 Tomcat was one of the most amazing planes that ever flew through the atmosphere. It goes so fast, and it had variable wings span on it, and it was just an amazing aircraft. I love watching it. I also worked on the A6, the A3, and the A4, which were all bombers used from Vietnam. Actually, I think the A4 was actually in Korea on through Vietnam and later. And I actually worked on that plane when I first came in the Navy. So airplanes, I kind of got in my blood, I guess, but I used that education of working on electronics to go into computers once I retired. So I worked in computers and IT, things like that. So it gave me actually a twofold career. So I'm very grateful to have that time in the Navy and the excitement of working on the flight deck and working on aircraft, but it also gave me a follow-on career in computers. So like I say, it was well-rounded. I wonder, when I hear somebody talking about aircraft, it really kind of gets in your blood and you really enjoy it. And you know a lot about the aircraft before it's all said and done when you spend that much time working on it. And that's enough gushing over my career. I'll turn it back over to you, Chris, and look forward to the 73 round coming up next. It's good to hear from everybody today. That's going great. And especially since it was just you and me, Chris, when we started. We had to see a bunch of other people join us. So I'll turn it back to you, Chris. Whiskey Alpha 5, Romeo India Papa.
Yeah, Mike 7, Charlie Sierra. Thanks very much there. And of course, yeah, next we will go rain to Ken, GW4GJA. And I will anticipate hovering over the timeout button. Rain to you there, Ken.
Okay, keep it short, make this the final anyway. But yes, fine on everything there. Yes, Concorde was an interesting plane, wasn't it? The last time I saw it was flying was it was its final flight. It was arriving at Heathrow on that day when it landed for the last time. I just happened to be, by coincidence, on the M25 by Heathrow Airport, and I was stuck in traffic, and it suddenly came over the top of us. Saw it come in, and then I suddenly realised, oh, of course, this is the afternoon. It's the final flight coming in. Yeah, it's a lovely sight to see. I've only seen it I've seen it a few times before, but anyway, that day I was it's not pleasant being stuck on the motorway, but it was it was quite useful on that occasion. Anyway, we got moving again. I think I was I think I had a deep metallic coming. Was it metallic? Or yeah, I don't know. Forget that. But it goes back some while, of course, some years ago. And yeah, I was a service engineer, and I was driving a car for CCOM Security Systems at the time. With ladders on the roof, Vauxhall Estate car, diesel, and with CCOM Security Systems. Good company that was. I was working for. It was quite enjoyable. Long hours, but a lot of experience I got on there with many things, and it was good times really. In fact, Ashley here in the repeater group, runs the repeater group here, Merthyr Tydfil Club as well. He's ex-CCOM engineer as well, by coincidence, and he's doing the same job as I was in Kent before I moved here, and in the air, but he runs all the repeaters, Beast, GBDC, and so on. Well, you know him, don't you, Chris? Of course you do. I know you've spoken to him many times. with that, I'm going to wish you all good night, 73s. Many thanks for the chat this evening. I'll try not to forget next week and get it up. And so passing back to you there, Chris. Thanks for running the net again. Back to you from Golf Whiskey 4, Golf Jude Alpha.
Yep, 7-3 then, Ken, and thanks very much for popping in there. And yep, I do know Keeper of the Gateway you were talking about and everything. So we will go round to Rod G0 EUZ. Okay, I'll try for Rod again. G0 EUZ. Okay, nothing heard there, and he did go a little bit darky. So on the last one. So we're going to Monty, 2W1 TER.
Yeah, 2 Whiskey 1 Tango Echo Romeo. Yeah, another little story about Concorde. I took my nan down to Heathrow Airport early 70s, and she witnessed Concorde landing. And I was often left thinking she'd seen the Wright brothers take off and she'd just seen a Concorde land. So that was some hell of a journey of aviation in her lifetime. Hell of a journey. And then another story, I remember riding through Essex and all the roads were pulled over and it was a bit weird. And then 747 flew over the top of it with the sound and the beast. It was just so low. The trajectory to take off was so shallow because the weight. No, I didn't get that to come behind me. That was monstrous, but very impressive. But yeah, 7-3's all. 2 Whiskey 1 Tango Echo Romeo going clear.
Yeah, thanks very much there, Monty, and 7-3 to you. So we're going to go up to Michael, 7-3 right now. Rain to you there, and then we will see if we get 7-3 from Rod. Hopefully he's sorted it out and the problem that there is there. And so yeah, we will go round to Michael. Rain to you for your 7-3.
Chris, Whiskey Alpha 5, Romeo and Papa here. It's been a good net. We started out kind of slow, but we built up pretty good. And we have people coming and going as we went. Off and some of the others that came through kind of like a rotating field of people, almost like guests on a talk show, I guess you would say. And good to have Rod here. I thought Rod was going to be out this week, but I guess maybe it was Steven that said he had something to do this week. But anyway, a great net. I'm actually past the leading edge of this storm. It's still raining here, but the wind has died down a little bit. So, and I haven't lost power, haven't lost internet, so it's going to be a good day so far. So hopefully we'll get through this without any damage, and everybody will have a great week this week. We'll join up again next Saturday. Everybody have a great week from Whiskey Alpha 5, Romeo Indy Papa 73.
Yep, 7-3 there, Michael. I was a little bit quick on the key there, as on my own hotspot, I'm you. But I'm not. But it's alright, we can identify how we want. So 7-3 to you there, Michael. I'll try one more time for Rod, G0, EUZ.
G0 EUZ. Sorry about that, Chris. Right. I'll keep it short. I don't know what the problem is here, but it's obviously DMR there. So second, something different next week. 7.
Yeah, Mike 7, Charlie Sierra. Yep, 7-3 there, Rob. Yeah, and there's a live again. Yeah, quite literally 59% loss. The kid just kept showing loss. It's like every other word it's doing a drop. Maybe your interweb's just having a little wobbly. But it's not a problem there, Rod. As always, next week, or Wednesday, we'll see if his hands get better. I'll bid everybody a 7-3, and mark myself a 7-3, haven't I? And of course I will catch you next week. Thanks for joining in with the Wales Ragchew Net. Never got that wrong, Saturday Ragchew Net. And of course, yeah, never forget the roots. And of course, yeah, you might be able to catch City on Wednesday. But look for the updates on the page. There is an automatic post, and then City normally puts an update out if there isn't one. 7-3 all, and catch you next week. And yeah, if you're watching on the YouTube, remember to subscribe, not because I'm monetized, but because you'll get the notifications when the Ragchew goes live, as you know, basically as a reminder. 7-3 for now.